Hello guys, it's Freedom Rider back at you again. A couple of days before Christmas. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday to you and yours, you and your families. And of course, a Happy New Year. So all is good here down in South Florida. The last 3 or 4 days have been extremely rainy, and we had a big low pressure system that formed out of the northwestern Gulf, and we've been feeling the consequences of a lot of rain for the past 3 or 4 days. And that, coupled with the fact that it's been the holidays, things have been a little bit crazy, and in addition to that, I've been literally immersed in a project that I want to talk to you about today as the subject of this vlog. I've immersed myself in the process of buying a second motorcycle. As you know, I talked to you in a previous vlog about this subject. I'm interested in getting a more vintage, older, more classic vintage motorcycle as a second motorcycle to pop around on. So I've immersed myself into the world of second-hand motorcycles, and I want to come to you today with some simple suggestions that I would put forth. This list of suggestions is by no means all-inclusive. Simply a few observations that I would make and pass on to you. Hopefully you'll find some benefit in this subject matter. When you're thinking about buying a second motorcycle, or a first motorcycle for that matter, and it's a used motorcycle, there are numerous things to keep in mind when you're buying a motorcycle of this type. And I would say one of the first and foremost things that I find has been useful to me in this process is to do your homework. Research the particular motorcycle that you're interested in taking a look at and test riding, so that you know as much about what to expect from the motorcycle as possible before you go and visit with whomever you're buying the motorcycle from. And that brings me to my second point. Obviously, you have a couple of different options when you're purchasing a used motorcycle. You can either attempt to purchase the bike you're looking for from a private individual or from a dealership. There are advantages and disadvantages of both. I would caution you, and I don't want to get into a whole big subject about title searches, but I would caution you that if you're going to buy a motorcycle from a private individual, make sure you've done your homework and the title is clear. I'm not going to talk to you about all different types of issues with titles in this. I'm going to keep this vlog simple. You can find out in more depth about titles, but do some homework on titles. Find out about liens, find out about theft. Make sure that when you go and you visit with the motorcycle, the VIN number on the title matches the VIN number on the bike. That's very important. Basic, but pretty important. So let's say you're going to buy the motorcycle from a dealership. You're probably going to pay a little bit more money, but much of that work that I just mentioned will be done for you if you buy a used motorcycle from a dealership. When you go and visit with the dealership, bring a second set of eyes with you if you can. Have somebody else take a look at the bike with you, preferably somebody who's knowledgeable with motorcycles in general, and ideally knowledgeable with that particular make and model of motorcycle that you're interested in buying. I would also say that when you pull into the dealership and you're ready to meet with the dealership, if the bike is already parked outside in the lot and you spot it before you go in, take a moment to take a look at the bike yourself for a little bit and see what you can notice about the bike before you go in and announce your arrival to the dealership and let them know you've arrived to see the bike. So now you've arrived at the dealership, you've introduced yourself, and it's time to go out into the lot and take a look at the motorcycle. All right? Okay, so what I would suggest here at this point is look the bike over systematically, one section at a time. And one thing that I suggest is you bring a small flashlight with you. It comes in very handy for seeing areas of the bike that may be hard to see.